What's up, everybody? I've kind of missed doing these, I have to be honest. And I've been this week has been absolutely crazy. I don't know about anybody else. In a good way and in just a crazy way. So I've kind of just like I couldn't end up making any videos. So I'm sorry about that, but I'm here tonight. So maybe you'll stay on this one. And I got one of the questions, which this is one of my favorite questions to answer, not because it's an awesome question, but because I feel like so many people ask like why they keep attracting unhealthy, I'll put in quotes, right? Partnerships and relationships. And so I thought that I would throw it out there as a question to ask in this session. And I'm bringing on a new book, one of my favorites. And it's like simple little quotes on all this stuff. Meditations for Women Who Do Too Much. So, hey Brian, what's going on? Hey, how's it going with your pretty lady? I hope things are going well with that. So maybe this question may be inspiring to you also. But yeah, why we keep attracting unhealthy partnerships. So in my experience, what I'll say is it usually, like, I believe everybody has this energetic kind of like beacon that's going out, right? And yes, we usually have it as like a positive. Ooh, thumbs up, thanks. Usually a lot of things, like that's what we send out, and that's what, that's how we attract back in towards ourselves. And there's a big part of it that can be these kind of negative, it's where our negative patterns are, it's where our negative programming is. That's very deeply rooted in, usually from early on in our younger years, but it's like this record that's playing. So if you can imagine this song, right, that each person has a unique one. Hey, hi, what's up James, what's up Tony, oh my god, hey Emily, I have so many people I want to catch up with in 2017, so please message me so that we can like seriously put it on the calendar and do a catch up. I think you guys are all amazing and beautiful. And it's my goal to connect more with people that I just, I really want to be able to connect a lot more for 2017. So back to the topic at hand, attracting unhealthy relationships and then attracting what makes us attract healthy relationships, right? But I believe we all have this energy signature, right? And it's like this record that's playing in the back of our minds. And it's usually, we have the positive ones and then we usually have the negative ones. And this negative one has a strong, I'll just say in my experience, is a primary kind of magnet for what we attract and then ultimately what we're projecting out, right? So that's kind of first and foremost just one of the views on that I have. And I thought going to the books to find out what additional information and light that we can shed on this matter as to why you might or might not be attracting unhealthy relationships or relationships into your life and how to move through those and what we can create around those. Love those thumbs up. Thank you. Who's that from? I can't see the picture. You guys are so awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go first. I'm going to take it to the Akashic Records because what better way to find out as a general question why we keep attracting unhealthy relationships and relationship dynamics than find out from our soul. And the Akashic Records are an archive of basically our soul. So here we go. That's interesting. It's starting off, and let's see, if Clifford's on, I think Clifford said before that he ended up getting this book. So Clifford, if you have this one, or if anybody else has this one, the Akashic Records Book of Life, it's on page 103. One of the answers we're going to go with, why we keep attracting unhealthy patterns, It's so funny. I'm such a numbers person too. It says 717. That's such a strong, like the sevens are super really powerful. Ones are new beginnings, right? Which if all you guys, what was that on the 11th? My girl Melissa and I were talking and she was like, Sarah, it's a like 111 day, or it's a 111 day. And I posted a thing on Instagram because it was January 11th and then 2017 is a 1. So everything is about new beginnings, all that stuff. So this is a 717, and sevens are really powerful. So in relationship to this question, the answer that this book is giving is the next exercise is for those of you who are truly unable to do the alternate nostril pattern. What? What is it talking about? Oh, we're talking about breathing patterns. Ooh. So anybody who does breath work knows how important that is and how awesome that is. So lay down with your knees and neck supported. So this is taking you through a whole breathing pattern. So let's see. With your imagination, select only the finest quality of oxygen. That's amazing. Only select the finest quality of oxygen. Only select the finest quality of people. How do we determine whether they're finest quality of oxygen? See it as suspended in the air in front of you as tiny points of light. Imagine that your navel is able to inhale the oxygen into your lungs while breathing in through your nostrils. Pretend you are slowly drawing oxygen into your body through your navel. Through the count of 7, hold, exhale, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 7, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it's a breathing technique. And it's a visualization, and it's bringing light in. So perhaps this could be one of the things, at least in how to attract. That's what it's telling to me in attracting it, is like, one, work out a breathing pattern and technique, and this is on a 7. So like inhale for 7, exhale for 7, all that stuff, and visualizing light coming in, and visualizing what you're attracting, and visualizing you being light, and all that stuff. And some people think it's really cheesy. You want to know a secret to your subconscious mind? Something really, really powerful that I learned in one of my NLP courses, and I've never forgotten, and it was such a transformational piece. And they said that the secret to your subconscious mind, right? Or one of the secrets of your subconscious mind is, please post a photo of the nostril breathing on your Facebook and tag me. Do you want to take a screenshot? I'll take a picture of the book. Okay, one of the most powerful lessons that I learned about the subconscious mind. It doesn't know the difference between reality and your creativity. So like the creative daydreaming that we have, the visualizations that we do, all of that stuff is directly linked to our subconscious mind. And what we create there, we tell, like our conscious mind and our subconscious mind is reading as truth. So whenever you have like negative daydreams of like terrible things happening, and they all talk about like, oh, well, what you think about and what you visualize, you attract, because that's what you're putting in your energetic field, but that's what you're telling yourself. And so your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference then. So if you do a visualization that's positive, that at first might seem kind of dumb, might seem kind of stupid. Maybe you're laughing at yourself like, this is ridiculous. And like, how does this even work? And does this even work? Like I've heard it countless times. And I always think it's really funny because I know that your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. And so literally, yes, for all us amazing, creative daydreamers, all that time that you spent in school that you weren't paying attention to the board and you were just off daydreaming in fantasy amazingness land, that was all creating your subconscious patterning, and that was creating a story for you. When they're positive, that's a good thing. When they're negative, not so much. So I'm a big fan of doing visualization techniques with breathing, with all those things to really attract what you want and tell the story that you want. You're the actor in your own movie. You're writing your own script, and literally what you visualize, your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. And that's what makes it exciting, because then you get to create whatever you want to. Okay, what does that have to do with this breathing technique? That has to do with, for me, getting clear in your body, clearing out everything. Let me see what this one pertains to. It's not going to tell me. Let's see. It's in the chapter of the process. Once you have found your perfect formula of relaxation to meditation, stick to it. That's really funny that now I open to the meditation chapter of the Akashic Records book, and I brought the meditations for women who do too much. Just synchronicities, just saying, things happen like that. Most individuals who are intent on getting into the records after just a few weeks of practice, this is important. Oh, so they're talking about the breathing techniques in order to tap into your own Akashic Records and how to do that. And when you can tap into your own Akashic Records, of which then you can tap into your own soul's story. Okay, here it is. When you can tap into your own Akashic Records and you can tap into your own soul's story and then watch the movie of your own soul's story and visualize what has happened versus what is happening versus then what you want to have happen in the future, and play all that out. What's the rest of it? You're creating. You have to get in touch with your soul. That sounds cheesy, but it is. And we all have one. I don't care whether you're atheist, whatever you believe. It doesn't really matter. If you're in a body, you have a soul. So the more that you can get in touch with your soul, then the more you can find out why you're attracting the things that you're attracting. And if they're unhealthy patterns, and if they're, yes, if there's unhealthy patterns, but if they're unhealthy relationships, then there's a reason. Maybe it has to do with some past soul karma. Yes, I kind of believe in that. Sorry. And whether you do or don't, like, have you ever met somebody that you have this amazing connection with and you don't know why? And they could just be like friend, amazing soul, like agape, like I love you, brother, sister, or sister, sister, brother, brother kind of love. And having that really deep connection, those are the ones that, like, we're attracting our soul family. So the more that you get in touch with your soul through your Akashic Record, then you're going to know who your soul family is, and then visualize it through your subconscious mind, creating that, and then you start attracting your soul family. The more we start attracting our soul family, the less we have unhealthy relationship patterns. And I will say, just as like a little addendum to that, some people come in to like help us learn something that our soul needs to go through, that we didn't learn the last time, or that we need more clarity on this time. And sometimes those relationships end poorly, and sometimes those turn into unhealthy dynamics. And either way, it's to look at those and realize that that's another opportunity that you can say, wow, my soul needed to experience that so that I would know love more. That's kind of my biggest thing, as to like why we keep attracting those people. And it's what you're saying to yourself. It always comes down to what you're saying to yourself and who you believe that your soul is and why you believe you're here. And there's a lot deeper thing like that. But that's what I think that was saying with the Akashic Records. I'm going to check again. Request code. You want to know? Do you want Akashic request code? 722. You guys are awesome. Okay, somebody to watch that. I will watch that in a second. 72. What is like? I don't know exactly what it is, but either way, I think that's awesome. And everything vibration, everything's geometry. Get really heavy into geometry. And just how that's the vibration of everything in existence. Everything has a pattern. Everything has a pattern. And when we can calculate that pattern, then we can know actually how to attract the people that we want. I'll do a plug. The Vivibolt, I'm not wearing it today because my chain broke. And I need to get one. But the lightning bolt, it is designed to, geometrically, it's designed and calculated precisely to the energy of your heart chakra. So it's opening that and activating that. So then you get to connect with all of these other people who have their hearts opened and just spreading more agape. And it's also, the deeper part of it is there's also a code in there, a geometric calculation that targets back to our soul, integrated in through our heart, and how we can actually bring that into the physical body. So that's the kind of fun stuff that I like to play with, and that we designed to create that, because since everything's a calculation, then once we know how to calculate those things, if you guys want me to do a workshop on this stuff too, let me know, because I've been debating about whether I really need to do that. So if that's like a thumbs up or write a comment, whatever. But how geometry plays a huge part in our life, in our physical life, in our energetic life, in our emotional life, all that stuff. In opening, and we can use it to open up all of our senses. It's really fun. Okay, that's my plug for myself and my own products. And you can go to sovereignalliance.com for that. So please post a photo. Oh, that was you saying that. Okay. And readings. You guys are like having your own conversation, which is great, but I have no idea what you're talking about. Request code for what? Please explain. That's what I want to know. What code? You want a code. Hold the phone. That's Angels. Where is... I have a perfect book for that. Okay, pause for 2 seconds. Nobody go anywhere. I'm going to go get another book. Okay. So, you want a code for something. I don't know the number that you're talking about. And I could probably find it. And those numbers are probably related to letters somehow. And I don't know. Oh my God, it could take me a second to find that specific number. However, what I am going to do... Okay, hang on. Eye in the orbit. So something about eyeballs with code 5454311. In case you're wondering, this is restoration of the human organism through the concentration of numbers. Or on numbers, excuse me. Method of improving conditions of health through concentrations of 7, 8, 9 digital numbers, perceived course, practical work. Okay, all that stuff. So I opened to something about eye. It says eye diseases. I'm not saying that there's anything related to eye disease, but that's what I opened to in this book. And I love 77222. I don't know. I feel like that would take me way too long to like find that specific number, if it's even in here. And you may have just made it up yourself. So I'm going to do this. Neurological. So something with the eye and something with the neurological. Interesting. So brain. I don't know if that's what I opened out of this one, but I am going to go to this. Hang on. What's up with the sevens? So this book even relates back to 7. I just opened it up. I don't know if you guys have one. The English alphabet. Phi and the English alphabet. This is such a cool book. He goes into numbers and relating the numbers back to letters and then what they mean. And so 6, 5, 5, 5, 1 equals 22. That relates to 7. 22 divided by 7 yields us to pi. 7 is the 3.14. Understanding the power of 7 also allows us to perform a miracle. Miracles equal 22, and there are 7 letters in the word. 22 divided by 7 yields us once again a close proximity of miraculous, infinite, transcendental number of pi. Genesis claims God said, "Let there be light." The manifestation of sound and light seem to be the key to understanding creation. Human beings are constructed using 23 pairs of chromosomes. Let's take a closer look at the word. We use human, chroma, all that fun stuff. Okay, so something having to do with 7 and miracles. I feel like I'm going off on like a totally other tangent over here, but I'm just following it because that's what ends up happening on this thing. And I just go with the flow and I go with intuition, and that's just what happens. Hang on. Angel number 22 is a message of faith. Yes, there's a 5s, 22s. Focus. Melissa. What? Are you saying that I have very strong multitasking skills, aka slight ADD? Oh, 77222 is my birthday. Okay. Well, that's cool. Okay, so refocusing. Thank you, Melissa. But I don't know, when I see numbers, I get all like excited. Back to the source of the question. Why do we keep attracting unhealthy relationships? We got the understanding about our soul, connecting to the Akashic Records. Let's go to my favorite book in the world, Personal Power Through Awareness, 132. Your intellect loves to plan everything out in a logical way. Your intuition is spontaneous. We're talking about intuition again. It always opens to this. And your intuition in knowing when you're attracting, or when people show up into your life. Like, I get this all the time where it's like, well, how do you know whether it's the one? And how do you know, like, all that stuff? Like, we have to learn to listen to our intuition, because it will yell when it's not listened to. The ego is the loud side. The intuition is that really subtle voice that none of us like hear because all the pots and pans are banging. But your intuition, I feel like, will get a lot louder if you don't listen to it. So your intuition is spontaneous. Being flexible is important. If you rigidly stick to your pre-planned goals, you may miss many blessings from your intuition telling you how to make things simpler. So I always go back to just asking, just really getting in touch with yourself, doing a breathing technique, connecting to your soul in your Akashic Records, and finding out, like, where are you being rigid with what you're attracting, and how can you open that up to be a little bit more fluid, how to make things, and more simple, how to make things more how to make things simpler. For you, and for the people that then you're attracting, because we always attract what the thing is within us that we don't want to admit. And so if we're attracting unhealthy dynamics, then there's a part of us that we're not wanting to look at within ourselves that can sometimes be a negative one. And once that gets super clear, then it disappears, and then you learn the lesson and you operate from that positive, and then you start attracting the people that you actually really want. Andreas, thank you for delivery, Michael. I don't know what that means. That wasn't an order, Melissa. We're saying yes, neurologically can relate to focus. Oh. And I took it as I need to focus because I was getting slightly off track. Girl, you can order me around. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, I want to continue reading this because I think it's important. If you find yourself resisting doing something, stop and ask yourself, what would you rather do instead? What do I say? What's fun? Follow the fun. Follow fun. I feel like I'm in a weird mood tonight. Maybe I'm just tired. Delirious. I may, let's see. It may be that it is not the highest way to go, or it may be the wrong time. If you trust and act upon your feelings from moment to moment, you will be flowing with your intuition and thus the universe, and thus then your soul. Let's see. What else do I want to say about that? I know I always come back to like kind of putting the responsibility like on us or on you with like what we do, but I feel like that's kind of one of the biggest things that's like missing a lot of the time, is not really taking a lot of responsibility and really owning like how we show up in the matter. Like, it's so much easier to point the finger out and be like, oh, well, they're the bad ones, you know, and why are they the assholes? And don't get me wrong, like there is a dynamic of like, if you're a strong empath, there was some article I read about the empaths attracting narcissists. Been there. That was fun. Then the sociopathic narcissist. Yep, I did that too. That was super fun too. And so, yes. And again, I had to come back and be clear as to why I was attracting that. What part of me that I wasn't respecting within myself. What part of me, I mean, to a certain extent, I think we're all a little bit narcissistic. There's extensions and levels. And I think we're all always trying to make it about like, how do we get love? Like, everybody's seeking love. So that is kind of making it about us in general. But I will always, I think that it's important to always first take on, like, double check with ourselves. Like, okay, did I do anything to attract this? Did I do anything to manifest this or create this or whatever? If you're clear and you're like, no, I really authentically feel like this is just something that happened, because sometimes you walk into a room and an asshole just shows up. Like, you didn't really attract it. Love you, love this. Follow the fun. Simplicity. Follow the fun. Because if it's not fun, why would we be doing it? Why? Because we think we have to? Why would we stay in an unhealthy relationship? Because we think that we can make it work? Because we can think we can be the ones to change them? Because we think, like, which things are you trying to deny about yourself that then, you know, or what you're trying to do out of it, that if you just let it go, it'd be a lot more fun. I'm going to do one more thing. And expand your view of pleasure. And again, somebody said that this is backwards. So I don't know if you read it backwards because I flipped my camera. So it says, expand your view of pleasure. That's hot. That's really hot. I think everybody could expand their view of all kinds of pleasure. This one, this is really interesting. I really like this. It's titled Prisons, like a prison. I create my own prisons. No one else is putting these walls around me. Rarely do we recognize the construction of our enclosures until they are already built. We are fooled by the illusionary appearance. They look like security, prestige, power, influence, money, and acceptance. It is only when the construction is completed that we realize that we are enclosed in a splendid isolation. When did that happen? We look down at our work or our lives for only a second and then look up to find our illusions and security have become a benevolent prison. Prisons have rooms for fantasies, but prisons have little room for dreams. That's kind of awesome. We have misjudged our we have misjudged our priorities. We do not want the isolation of success at any cost. However, somehow we thought that we could have it all. It's in quotations in here. And now all of it has us. I love this book. That's something really, really huge to contemplate. And right when I was kind of thinking like getting into the relationships and why do we stay in relationships and thinking that we can solve them, thinking that we can, do whatever if they're an unhealthy dynamic and it's not, it can't be worked out. I'm always an advocate for working something out. And if it's just unhealthy and the boundaries aren't set, then what prisons are we putting ourselves in and why? And are we punishing ourselves and why? God, that was a whole other conversation about self-deprecating. Oh my God, I can't talk tonight. Deprecation. Okay, brain fade. Why are we self-destructive, basically? And punish ourselves for all this stuff. Like when we feel really crappy about something and I had this experience, and my partner and I were talking about it, and it was like having a really, really good day. You feel super great, and you want to do all these things, and then you have something that makes you feel like crap, and all of a sudden you want to eat like crap. You don't want to treat your body. It's almost like your mind and what you tell your mind and whatever's happening. Then you want to punish your body for it, and so staying in unhealthy relationships and maybe attracting unhealthy relationships has to do with a self-punishment. That just came up right now. I don't know. It just fell out my mouth. And so where are we punishing ourselves? And why do we allow things to happen? Why do we condone them? Why do we allow them to happen? Why do we make things okay? Or give excuses for certain behaviors or certain unhealthy dynamics. And why do we attract them? Are we, on some level, do we deep down not feel great about ourselves? And then we feel like we have to punish ourselves. And one way of punishing ourselves is whether we eat terrible or attract unhealthy relationships. Because if our mind is saying it, then what we're going to attract is in the same and equal vibration. And that puts us in our own prison. And we stay in our own prison in our mind. And then we attract the people that then make us feel like we're in a prison. And it's the same vicious cycle. So how can we love ourselves more? How do we recognize the self-deprecation? Deprecation? Crap, I'm really not on it with the words tonight. Okay, forgive me. I'm just really tired. Thank you, girl. I love you. Shared you. Thank you, Jim. Why, I'm really, I'm adamant about finding the root of why we feel the need to self-punish. Because if you really think about it, we do it to ourselves on so many different levels. And I don't know what the root of it is yet, and I'm still on a hunt for that. But then we put ourselves in our own prisons, in our own minds, and then attract those people around us. So the last thing that it says here is my isolation has been of my making, so my reaching out for help can also be of my doing. That's a really, really powerful. So remember that you're never alone, and asking for help is one of the hardest things to do. And at the same time, I always find that there's always people who want to help. Always. That may be a limiting belief that some of you have. And when you know and you're willing to look for those resources, there's always resources, especially around somebody not treating you well or an unhealthy dynamic or helping you get out of that. So know that you always have resources. You just have to check in with them. And find out what they actually are. So everybody has resources. We just think that we don't have them. Okay, So if anybody, oh my God, I'm so tired. I didn't even tell people what we were doing. If anybody has any questions that you would like for me to ask, please post it. We're playing Tap In, which means that I use my fun array of books in order to offer you an answer that could be totally different than, I don't know, what your own intuition would say. And it helps you tap into your own intuition and whatever comes up. So if you have any questions, definitely write them in the comments below. For the next video that I make, you guys can absolutely private message me if you're a little bit shy about writing the messages in public. I totally get that. Which brings me to the next question that somebody sent me privately, which I think ties in to the unhealthy relationship dynamic. They said, how do I know when to leave? They said job or relationship, right? Hang on, what's this? We attract what we think about, so unfortunately that includes thinking about what we don't want. That's kind of, yeah, exactly. And which is most destructive relationship problems, exactly. Visualizing the perfect relationship. And, oh man, I got hammered for using the word perfect, okay? Which I wasn't thinking about the political way to say it. But yes, I believe in visualizing your ideal or your perfect relationship, even though there's no perfect and all that stuff. Sorry, I'm ranting about it. Yeah, and I think honoring the visualization of whatever shows up for you, and like your mind can be a playground. I mean, when it's not disciplined, that can be a very destructive playground. But the visualization process, I used to do this thing. I used to call it fake TV, because I was fascinated with my subconscious mind. And so every single night before I would go to sleep, that's how I would put myself to sleep, is because I didn't really watch that much TV. I would visualize in my mind either some fun scenario happening, or sometimes I would just let my mind wander, and whatever would show up would show up. And these, you know, whether it's mystical beings or faces of real people, but that I had never met before, and they would share different things, you know, and different messages and different whatever, and I have no idea where it was coming from. And at the same time, it was somewhere within my subconscious mind, which, if all of our souls are connected to the collective consciousness, then the information is coming from the whole anyway. And so I would let whatever show up in this kind of fake dreaming or fake TV, fully conscious, mind you, but I was in more of a really, really deep meditative state, very, very relaxed. And I would do that until I would fall asleep, and it would be my kind of entertainment. So maybe that's something you could try on tonight. I don't know. Let's see. True idea is that I'm not happily ever after. Yes. There's no fairy tale. The fairy tale is what we make it. We get to make the fairy tale. So all of us who used to watch those Disney movies, I think that we can create them if that's what we want to create. I don't think that there's any right or wrong. I don't think anything has to be like, oh, well, those are fantasies and those are whatever, and who cares? Create the movie that you want. Create the relationship that you want. Set the standards that you want. And attract what you want, not what you don't want. That's awesome. I do it every night before bed. Yes. Subconscious. It's super powerful. Exactly. And it was interesting. I did this thing too. Before I knew what lucid dreaming was, I would do this as I was putting myself deeper into relaxation. I would go further and further. I would see how far it's almost like a moving back energy. So when I say back, I would like visualize going further and further back into the back of my mind until I could put myself, I wanted to see if I could feel that space between being awake and conscious, and then right as you like fall asleep, basically. And I call it the wall, where right when you cross the wall is when you technically fall asleep. But there's this section, the wall, that's this like really fine line, and in that area is where all the lucid dreaming can happen, which is really fascinating if you guys have never done that. But I would slowly but surely put myself deeper and deeper into a relaxed state and see how far I could push it to that wall and feel myself actually go to sleep. So that was totally random tangent, but okay, cool. It's 9:30. I know I got started a little bit late tonight, but I'm actually tired. So I'm going to ask one more super quick question, unless anybody has any questions to write or type in. And I'm going to go with the how do we know when to kind of leave a relationship or a job or anything like that. What do I want to do? I'm going to break out Osho, and I'm going to break out an angel card. Something's calling me Metagenics too, which is super, super amazing. Amazing work. Amazing energy work. It's all crazy. If you guys ever get to go to Matrix Energetic Seminar. Okay, so the how to know when to leave a job or relationship. Spend time alone in nature, meditating about your desires and intentions, and ask the angels to help you gain positive perspective. So there's always resources out there, even if they are not physically seen. You will always get answers to your questions, which is why we play games like this, because answers come from everywhere if we are listening and open to hear them. What's up, Clifford? Nice to have you join us. I mentioned you earlier. I don't remember what I was talking about. Okay. How to know when to leave a job or relationship. This is from the Path of Osho book. Okay, so that which you see is not, and for that which is, you have no words. Unless you see, you believe not. What is told you, you cannot accept. I always feel like I'm reading like Dr. Seuss, but like a really advanced version. He who is discerning knows the word, and the ignorant stands gaping. Some contemplate the formless, and others meditate on form. But the wise man knows that Brahma is beyond both. Oh my God, I forget what Brahma means. Brahma, I think Brahma is another word for God. I'm pretty sure, but don't quote me on that right now, because again, I said I'm like, my brain's not functioning all the way. Reframe. My brain is fully functioning and active. Limiting belief. Reframe. That beauty of his is not seen of the eye. That meter of his is not heard of the ear. Kabir says, he who has found both love and renunciation never descends to death. Renunciation, like renouncing. That who have no words, unless you see, you believe not. What is told you, you cannot accept. It's a knowing. All that says is a knowing, and it's in the chapter Harmony of Love and Renunciation. It's a knowing. You know always deep down. If you're in a job, if you're in a relationship, in whatever it is, if it's unhealthy, whatever it is, you know. And if you're sitting there saying, but I don't know, I know you don't know, and if you had to guess, what would be the first thing that would come to mind? And it's not in your head. It's that like split thing. But sometimes we make excuses, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we're not honest with ourselves. I've stayed in relationships that I knew, and I didn't listen because, God, there was 1,000 different reasons. I was like, oh, I can make it work and whatever. It's like, when it's not working. Doesn't mean don't try to make things work. It doesn't mean bail when things get hard and tough. It just means you know when it's like not okay. And usually it takes both people. Because if one person's trying to make something work and the other person's not, then that's also not, that's never going to work. Two people in a car. The understanding of an owl is totally different. The night is day for him and the day is night. And in the morning he settles at night. Evening is his dawn. The gap exists between the mystic and the non-mystic. I don't know why, but that almost says to me like what I was just kind of talking about of like the wall, that like in between space, the night and the light, and then the mystic and the non-mystic. So that may be relating to that. What is dawn for a mystic is a dark night for you. Interesting. And what is a dark night for the mystic is also your life consists of. Hence the misunderstanding. So usually, you know when it's time to leave a relationship when one of you is light and one of you is dark, and one's at night and one's in the morning, and either way there's just complete misunderstanding. And I always say too, it's like if you're both committed to creating a breakthrough within the relationship, then you're both committed to breaking through whatever that thing is. And there's always a way, but you also, like I just said, you have to, if two people are misunderstanding, you're either both committed to creating an understanding or you're not. And either way, you know. I don't know how else to explain it other than a knowing. I'm also a knight. K-N-I-G-H-T. That's awesome. What's up, Firestar? Thank you for tuning in. My spirit guide is an owl. Awesome. That's one of mine too. Agree with you. Let's see. Law of attraction. Exactly. It's law of attraction, but there's like an important oops. Hang on. I believe there's an energy to the law of attraction. Like it's not just thought, it's what is in our field. It's what's in our energetic field. Yes, our thoughts then get put in our energetic field or are in our energetic field. And it's everything. It's how we think, it's how we feel, it's how we act. All of those things tie into what we project out, and then hence what we're attracting back to ourselves. So if it's an unhealthy dynamic, like where are you kicking yourself? Where are you not respecting yourself? Where are you like feeling like crap, you know? And then how to get out of something like that, or at least try to make it work. It's creating the understanding if both parties are willing to do so. And if they're not, you know when it's no longer time and when that soul contract has expired and served its purpose. I think that's all I want to say about that. That feels really congruent. And feels really, not congruent. Hello. Feels complete for me. Again, we are back at frequency. Don't we always come back to frequency? Like I don't know. I feel like that's my whole world. I see everything in frequency. I see it. I feel it. I calculate it in geometry. I create pieces out of it. Everything is frequency. Absolutely everything. Our emotions, our thoughts, the things that we have, the dimensions of things that we create, the rooms that we live in and stay in are all height, width, and depth of their own geometry, which means they're constantly emanating a specific vibration. And some of them are in harmony with our physical body and our energy body, and then some of them are not. Pyramids, there's a reason why those were set up, to be in harmony with projecting a field of preservation. Most people who make pyramids aren't doing them correctly. That's a whole other topic. But everything is absolute frequency, and everything in our existence has a dimensional density that is then resonating. And what we're tuning into has to do with they're like channels, and we tune into those different channels, and that has a lot to do with what we're attracting and what we're not attracting. So wherever your vibrational tune is why you're attracting certain things, and that's easy to shift. Like everybody wants to have, like, we talk about like wanting to have control and all this stuff, or not having any control, and yet we are 100% in control of ourselves at all times. We're in control of our emotions, we're in control of our mindset, we're in control of what we say, and what we do, and yet we want to blame everybody else and give our power away, saying that whatever other people's actions are means that, you know, that's what our emotional state is, or that's what we end up thinking, or whatever. And really, it always comes down to the fact that we are in full control of it when we have conscious awareness about it, and conscious choice, and conscious connection. Everything is about being conscious and consciously aware of it. So that's my rant. That's my positive rant for the evening. I feel like I'm getting off on another tangent. What do I... expired when the frequency is not right. Yes, well said. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. Thank you. True is we're always in control and be the observer. Oh, that's such a huge key. 100% being the observer of our mind and the observer of our emotions, and sometimes even the observer of our actions. But yes, 100%. We're always, always, always in control. And when we blame other people for whatever they did to us or whatever happened, we're giving our power away. So when we get to take on responsibility, then we get to actually claim our power. So, you know, when most people like, you know, sometimes I think even on the last videos, like one person's question was like, oh, my, I don't want to take responsibility. It's like, well, we're not, when we have responsibility in something, then we're not claiming our power, and we're trying to give our power away to other people. So claim your power. Take responsibility. Own your emotions and your mind. You are in full control. Talking about being a narcissist, that's like egoic narcissist number one, but like in a positive way somehow. We are in full control of everything. So on that note, let's see. I forget to this thing paused. I don't know why. Okay. Well, either way, on that note, I'm gonna go sleepy because I'm tired. And this whole month I have manifested and somehow managed to attract a lot of work, energy, and all those things so that I can accomplish that I'm going to do and help people and all that stuff. So I'm hoping to make some more videos, and because I've manifested so much, now I'm extra busy, which means I'm extra tired in a good way. And so I'm super grateful for it. And at the same time, I won't be able to make a video every night like I wanted to this month. But thank you, James. Appreciate you. I'm just talking now. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for tapping in. And remember just to listen to your own intuition, and taking responsibility is claiming your power. So stop giving your power away. You're in full control of everything, and your subconscious mind, you are the creator of your own universe, and your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between your daydreams and your reality. So have amazing daydreams and night dreams tonight, and I hope they all come into fruition. So much love, blessings. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video.